Just a second, just a second. Okay. So, is my voice clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine, fine. Just give me a minute. I'm going to upload the PPT. Yeah, finally, we reached the last week of 2022. So, I don't know whether you had a good year, bad year, but whatever it is a learning year for us. I hope you will continue to learn more in the coming days and keep on progressing. Don't stop somewhere. Don't feel regret for something. Keep on increasing your knowledge. Keep on increasing your experience, and also most importantly, keep on learning the things from the society. Now, uh, in this session, we are going to understand some important current affair issues in which we will try to uh, understand the things which are in news and which are continuously in the newspapers from last few days. To begin with, hope you are able to see the screen. If not, please let me know. Are you
No,
able to see the screen?
No, sir.
no, sir.
No from Sonal, no from Kaushal. Then just a second, please. Okay, just give me 2 more minutes. It is uploading. Sorry for inconvenience.
No, sir. It's
Meanwhile,
okay.
you can talk like no. If you have any doubts regarding preparation or any other things, you can ask me. Not an issue. Why should we remain silent? So meanwhile, the PPT is
Hello,
uploaded.
hello, sir.
Yes, Kaushal.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm having one question, sir.
Uh-huh.
Sir, regarding this recognition of the countries, like, so my question is, sir, what are the advantages or the costs of a territory not being recognized as a country? Like, for example, Taiwan, it is not been recognized by many other countries. So, what are the disadvantages of it, sir?
Try to understand. Recognizing country is a much contested topic. You have to see two different important things here. Number one, recognition comes from three different point of view. One, recognition by UN, recognition by your partners, recognition by your enemies. Now, there are three different issues we can understand. Number one, if you are recognized by UN, then you will get advantage of joining into UN bodies. You will get advantage of getting benefits from the United Nations members, investment, help, assistance. And if you are recognized by your friends, then they will support you in terms of any issues. They will be with you and they will try to help you. So, like that, there are some advantages like investments, then trade, then people to people contacts, then protecting your neighbors, protecting your borders, and everything. Unfortunately, if you are not recognized, then everyone will try to threat you, will create some kind of threat, and they will try to create problems to you. Okay. So, if you are not recognized by major powers in the world, definitely you are going to witness some kind of challenges. If you are recognized, then that is a different issue. Now, you ask me what are the advantages. Obviously, you will get advantages of trade, advantages of economy. So, trade, economy, investments, defense production, technology, people to people contact, all this stuff will be helpful to you if you are recognized by someone. If you don't have it, obviously you will be threatened by everyone. You know, Atal Bihari Vajpayee once said this beautiful quotation, that is, you can choose your friends, but not neighbors. Okay, so you cannot choose your neighbors. They will come by nature itself. Okay, so most of the times, your your peaceful coexistence depends on the peaceful neighbors. Even that is true also. Let us say if you had always fighting neighbors at your doorstep, obviously you will never have proper sleep. For example, when you are when you want to sleep at around 10 o'clock, if your neighbor want to disturb your sleep, he will start DJ music. Okay. Or else he will fire crackers. You know, that was happened in the state of Maharashtra. You know, there is a case in state of Maharashtra, or state of Haryana, I guess. So the case was filed in Supreme Court asking that could you, I mean, why it is necessary to make sounds from masjid early in the morning, it is disturbing my sleep. It was a petition was filed. I'm not sure about its judgment, but the thing is, so your existence depends on the neighbors itself. So your path of independence or path of being a country depends on the neighbors itself. For example, when China was announced as a country in 1949 as a PRC, and that time no one recognized it. It is India which became the first country to recognize China. So recognition is one of the important thing. Who is recognizing is also important thing. For example, it is time to discuss about one more issue. That is Ukraine-Russia issue. You know what is happening? Who recognized Ukraine? The people who hate Russia, they immediately recognize Ukraine. But Russia never recognized Ukraine. So in the meaning of Russia, in terms of Russian point of view, Ukraine is not a country. Ukraine is just a territory with some people. That's it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So it depends on your perception, my dear. So if you are recognition, obviously you will have some kind of benefits. If you are not recognized, you will be threatened. For example, so let's take this topic as a current affair issue. See, there are some issues I want to discuss with you. For example, what will happen if no one recognizes you? With that topic I'm discussing, what will happen if no one recognizes you? Let us take some case studies here. What will happen? So first and foremost one, there are some Rohingyas. Who recognized them? None. That's the reason they're still roaming here and there. Then we have Kurds, second ethnic group, in fact, the second largest ethnic group. And third important thing is coming to Taliban. So now Rohingyas, Kurds, or Taliban. Of course, Taliban story is somewhat very different. But try to understand these two people are very vulnerable. Today, they are the most suffering people. In fact, throughout the human history, these are the people. Of course, if I should add to be a person to be called as a non-biased, so there are Tamilians in Sri Lanka, and we do have these people called as Tibetans. Now, people who love China, they won't like to call Tibet as a separate country. People who like Rohingyas, they are not recognized as even not a part of any country also. So tell me one thing now clearly: how many of you are completely aware about these 5 issues, or do you have any idea about these 5 issues? First of all,
Sir, I have no idea about that Tibetans. Are you talking about that Uyghurs Muslims?
of course, I have to
Oh,
mention them also, right? In fact, thank you so much.
okay, sir.
Now
Then
tell
I'm
me,
aware.
how many of you
Yeah.
are aware? How many of you are aware about all these people? I say one hand rise scheme in Kaushal. Remaining people, no idea. Yes, yes, yes. If you say something, then only I can proceed. What I have to understand with your silence.
Yes, sir.
What is this, Kaushal?
Okay, sir. Okay. So Rohingyas are basically from this Myanmar region, sir, Rakhine state. So they are not being recognized by that their country, country of origin. And Kurds are the people. They are also demanding their separate country called Kurdistan. Basically, they are the inhabitants of region like that
Iran.
Iraq, Syria, Turkey's border, and all. And about that, Uyghur Muslim is basically the inhabitants of Xinjiang province of China, and Tamils basically are not being recognized in the Sri Lankan, and I have no idea about that Tibetans.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
So, Shekhar,
Tibetan, yeah, Tibetan maybe, sir. Are you referring to those like means who came to like it is with respect to China, like as they after Dalai Lama came India, like they were means not recognizing those
okay, okay.
Tibetans.
Let me complete them one by one so that we will have an idea. Okay. Next time onwards, you should have the idea, right? So, to begin with, Rohingyas, 1940s, around that time, they began to extend support to the Britishers. So, who are first of all Rohingyas? Rohingyas are Muslims, Muslims in Rakhine province of Myanmar, Muslims in Rakhine province of Myanmar, and from 1940s onwards, they began this support to the British. And during 1939 to 1945, within the World War II time, so Rohingyas started to be part of Britishers. But what happened, that Britishers gave independence to Myanmar, and Myanmar traditional governments were restored there. But the problem is, so this Rohingyas. So Myanmar people, as in a mark of revenge, never recognized Rohingyas as part of Myanmar culture. So in a sad tone, I have to convey that in a sad manner, that these Rohingyas are subject for ethnic cleansing as per UN report. So what is this ethnic cleansing? So ethnic cleansing means targeting one specific group. Targeting one specific group meaning nothing is important except killing these people. Now, in this context, you need to remember certain facts associated with this topic. As I told you, so they were with British, but British left them alone, and there the people in Myanmar started to hate Rohingyas, and they started to attack them, and they started to kill them. Now, at this point of time, you should remember this beautiful fact, which is quite important for us to remember. So, at this time, what happened? Britishers left the Myanmar, and this Myanmar government started to kill these people in a target manner. So, there were evidences that villages were burned, and people started to die because of several assaults. Army started to kill innocent ladies, even kids also. So this Rohingyas started to migrate to Bangladesh, and from Bangladesh, and within the Bangladesh, they located near the Cox Bazar. And near the Cox Bazar, they're staying there. And what is unfortunate is this Cox Bazar is right now fully. And last year, they even started to migrate to Bashan Char, which is one more island. So Bashan Char, Cox Bazar are important to understand. So when they are coming to Bangladesh, Bangladesh gave them asylum in these two places. And further, what is interesting is, India said no entry for these people. And as we are not sign of 1951 United Nations Convention on Refugee, or famously called as a Refugee Convention, we haven't signed this, so we don't have any obligation to allow them. But India decided that Bangladesh is a small country and it may not tackle the issue. And finally, India come up with a program, the operation called as Operation Insaniyat. All these points are important for a brain's point of view. I repeat again. So 1940, in a differential manner, in an interesting manner, that is, Myanmar and Britishers were in conflict at that time. At that time, Myanmar and local people fighted. They fought against the army of British, and in that army of Britishers, you do find presence of Myanmar people. Okay, so finally, Myanmar people clearly hate these Rohingya Muslims, and Rohingya Muslims started to be part of the Myanmar culture. Unfortunately, Britishers announced the independence without creating a secure territory for Rohingyas. That is very bad step because Rohingyas unable to have a safe and secure world. So they were affected. They were affected, and with that problem and with that issue, we came to know that Rohingyas are subject for violence. Villages were burned. People, if you are Rohingya, they are killing you. If you are Rohingya kid, if you are a female kid, female kids are subject for more and more violence. According to UNICEF report, the Rohingya camps in Cox's Bazar and UNICEF had significant women, or you can say child pregnancy. You have to understand that killing these Rohingya people has become a great duty in my in the is became the opinion in the a great duty in the opinion of this province. So finally, they started to reach the And from Bangladesh, they started to even settle in some parts of India also. Of course, government is maintaining a strict control over the entry of these Rohingyas. But we have to understand that right now in Bangladesh, they were occupied in two different places. One is Cox's Bazar and another one is this Bashan Char. So what is the name of the operation launched by India?
So Operation Insaniyat.
Exactly correct. So please remember that for our prelims point of view. Hope you
So,
got now.
so yes, sir. So this Operation Insaniyat is particularly specific to this Rohingyas people only, or it is an humanitarian program? So,
No, it's Rohingyas only.
okay, okay.
Okay. Now, after completing Rohingyas, it is better to get a idea about who are these Kurds and what they want need. Okay. So, as our coach said, apart from Rohingyas, even Kurds doesn't have any law or any rule which is helping them. So, who are Kurds first of all? Kurds are the famous fighters. In fact, throughout the Islam history, these are the people who protected their motherlands, who protected themselves, and even they played an important role in fighting against the Ottoman Empire. Now, having said this, the greatness of Kurds, I just want to convey two important things with you. Number one, if such as ancient civilization is there, why no one is there in this country? And that the question can be understood from this logic. If it became independent, it will try to carve out new boundaries, new administration, and finally, it is the body particularly, it is the issue. What is important is, apart from that, that leads to create a lot of complications also. Now, this particular point, I just want to add one point. They were suffered by a lot of attacks from other countries. Now, that is going to be a detailed class, but I just want to focus to you that Kurds are strongly eliminated by Turkey, Iran, and some parts of even Iraq also. So the second important the second important policy we can understand is reservations to the EWS system, but don't ask me about West Bengal. So the reservations were given to protect the people, right, in India. But there are no such reservations for this Kurdistan people. Every country hate them. Every country is killing them. Now, that's with that background, we will try to understand who are these people. Now, as I told you, they are the natural fighters. They had that ability of fighting very naturally, and that's the reason they played an important role in elimination of ISIS during the fight against ISIS. Now, the Kurds, as I told you, they are once part of Iran, Iraq, and Turkey. As I told you, they are minorities, and government of India and the constitution recognized minorities and they protected them. But no such protection is there in these countries. So this Kurds played an important role even during the World War One also. Please remember that. World War One also. But unfortunately, what happened, uh, when they were involved in World War One, they were targeted. They helped the British, and British said that under Treaty of Severus in 1920, A autonomous Kurdistan is should be, will be provided. Now, this is very interesting, but never and never it was implemented. And still, Turkey is killing every day at least 2 or 3 people of Kurdistan. So this is the story. So in which countries you will find Kurdistan people?
Iraq and Turkey.
Very good, very good. So which agreement talks about Kurdistan people? Treaty of Severus. Treaty of Severus. So right till now there is no formal creation of for this country. At the same time, there is no other issues also. So these are the two important issues you should remember. Remaining stuff we will discuss in the coming days. Now, first article talks about China tried to change LAC status quo. Tell me now, how many you are aware about LAC, the other issues?
So little bit about it, sir.
See, the thing is, uh, you aware about the boundary or the border with China? The complete analysis of border.
So
Are you aware about it? Hmm. Yes, Kaushal.
yes, sir. So the borderline with China, we call it a line of actual control. It is basically divided into three parts for our convenience. That is the eastern region, middle, and this western part. So
Very
eastern
good, very
region is
good.
basically associated with that Arunachal border, and the middle is basically with the Sikkim region, and that's western is basically touching in the Ladakh region, sir.
Good, good,
Ladakh and
good.
also the
Very happy
Himachal,
for
I
you.
guess. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good information. Now, I would like to give you a small presentation about China-India border conflict. So tell me now, how many of you are aware about China-India border conflict from the history onwards? So that it will be easy for me to start from a different manner. How many of you are aware about Indo-China border from the background onwards? Hey, please don't waste our time. We can discuss. Okay, shall I start?
Yes, sir.
It is better, I guess. You are not speaking anything. Okay. So we'll try to understand Indo-China border conflict issue. So today the conflict is lies between these regions. Now this is also a regions where in 2020 our soldiers had an issue. And now I would like to begin with the what is the history of the conflict. So around in 1830s, around in 1830s, what happened is yeah. So around in 1830s, what happened is there was a conflict between Maharaja Ranjit Singh army and China. Now, so Maharaja Ranjit Singh defeated the China and he annexed these regions. He annexed these regions. Now, in a different manner, that after India Pakistan conflict issue in 1965, Pakistan donated the land to Britain. Sorry, to British. Now this is an issue. Sorry, related to China. Sorry, I'm sorry, to China. And this is very well contested issue. So I want to repeat again. That is when India and China began their relations at a very good manner, but later it became somewhat not active. So what is important thing is this particular aspect of controlling the borders is a problematic thing. Now, number one, on the one side we have this Aksai region, which was gifted by Pakistan to China, but the land truly belongs to India. Now,
So
I don't
means
want to.
after Indo-Pakistan war, you were saying like this happened.
Yes, exactly. So in 1962, Pakistan, India and China had, it's not a war as per some political scholars, it just is a skirmish, just a border fight. In that border fight, China declared themselves as winners. Anyway, that is their own foolishness. We can't do anything. Now, immediately after Indo-China War, India defeated almost three times. China was defeated three times. Now, recently, I can say fourth time also. So, where our soldiers blocked the entry of America, USA army personnel. Now, at all these points, one thing is important that there is something which is not correct in the border areas. So there are two schools of thoughts, or you can say two types of thoughts. Number one, those who are believing that China is correct. Better book your passport and please go to Pakistan. You can stay there because that is the next China also. Let us say that it's UN unable to counter this problem. It is true. The problem is same, remains from 1940s. In fact, from 1830s is very important. I'm beginning with the story of what happened in Narasimha Rao. Sorry, what happened in this particular time. In the time of China got independence. So China, when they got independence, India somewhat advanced country. Somewhat even it is having very not very bad environment conditions, but little bit conditions. On the other side, China doesn't have such economic resources. Of course, if they have, even they cannot use it. So now what is important is China and India started their own race of development. Unfortunately, China policies failed from 1950s to 1961. When repeatedly China was failing, then India started to grow up at that time. Now, the Christian missionaries took some serious measures. And finally, these missionaries played an important role in development of this Christianity in China. You may confuse that why I'm talking about Christianity if it is the border issue between the two, but try to understand that. And that reforms of education today became the most important key for the Chinese development. Now, here, I just want to add some information here. That is, so where the border issue exactly located. So as our Kaushal said, it is true that our education system is somewhat, I mean, the particular system of governance in 1940s is somewhat different from other countries. You know why? Because India recognized China. That is what interesting is about. India said, yes, we recognize you as a country. We are not interested to join with the so-called Taipei. So India even supported it. But what is interesting is, so why there is a war then? If India is supporting, if India is supporting China, why then border conflict is about? So border conflict began with the way of, this way of thinking itself. Now, this particular issue, the border issue, very unsettled issues. That's the reason when the issue reached peak stage, we don't know what to do. So their solution that please provide them technical assistance. So I will talk to you that. But unfortunately, what happened is the issue remains in the news and it will continue to be remain in the news. So what happened exactly in this case? So as per the guidelines of the Supreme Court, it is the duty of the state which should also provide the free legal assistance. So at that point of time, what happened is very interesting. That is,